Hey guys, hope everyone is doing well today. So I've been away from making videos for a while. I just haven't had anything that I really felt like saying. I felt like so much of the message I wanted to put out there had already gotten out there on my channel, and I just don't have an interest in just like repeating myself time and time again. Um, but I do want to create content for you guys. So I thought one thing that I would both enjoy, and you guys can let me know if you enjoyed this style of video, is I was going to do like a weekly sort of just rant video on all the thoughts that I had that day, or some maybe important messages or important ideas that I felt, you know, hasn't been said enough or hasn't been expressed enough in the community. Um, so that's going to be a new series on the channel. We'll try it out and see how people like it. So in this video today, I wanted to talk about two topics, I guess. One, I wanted to express my thoughts for the very little they're probably worth on the Frosted Caribou sort of Gary controversy and situation, because I do think it's important in terms of just us like enjoying the hobby. You know, these are two important figures in the hobby who speak for, I think, a lot of people and share similar sentiments to a number of people. So I think it's interesting to touch on. So I want to give you my like thoughts on it now that I've looked into it a little bit more. I was asked on the live stream at the beginning, I guess last Sunday, I was asked on that live stream what my thoughts on it were, and I didn't even know anything was going on because I just haven't been paying attention to the online YouTube social media world. But by now I've watched some videos and looked into it a little bit, seen the comments that, that sort of thing. So the second thing I want to talk about is that this idea that like investing can be fun, and done the right way, investing in Pokemon cards and any sort of cards while you're sort of collecting and having that sort of financial mindset doesn't mean that you don't really enjoy the cards, and doesn't mean that you're not also a collector of the art and appreciator and admirer of the art or the sentiment of the cards. But it also can mean that you're you enjoy the game and the process of predicting markets and predicting what people are going to like and trying to find deals and hunting down things. And I think the shaming of that sort of behavior seems like unnecessary, particularly if it's done in a way that isn't you're not explicitly lying or manipulating the market too much. And we've talked at length about that on this channel, but I think that this narrative out there that one, investing has to like just be about the money or making the most profit, and two, this idea that you're sort of a scumbag if you're if you're investing in these things, because they shouldn't have any money or monetary value and they should just be about fun and enjoyment, for just people who want to just collect and enjoy things and don't care about ever selling them or making money, I think is unfair to the people who like to do both, to be completely honest. And I think we all have to share this space, and I know I get enjoyment out of both things. Investing is this interesting thing of a lot of investments in life are going to be solely about the money or making the most money. But people who are investing in Pokemon cards or investing in collectibles are often trying to collect things that they really love in a financially sustainable and smart way. And, we had a Patreon event this month, the last month, excuse me, and one of the questions we asked everyone, one of the polls we took was, are you guys mostly investors, flippers, collectors? How would you define yourself? And almost everyone defined themselves as a collector first, or at least one of their primary things is a collector. And so even if they enjoy the financial aspect and they want to make their money go the furthest, they fundamentally want to build a collection that they really enjoy and appreciate, which of course is going to probably have to do with the financial value of the cards, but also is going to have to do with the art, with the connection of the cards to their life, something that they like, something that sparks their attention and interest. So I just want to say that I think that you're doing nothing wrong, one guy's opinion, by trying to make money in this space. As long as you're not lying to people and doing all the things we've talked about on this channel, and I think if you're like that, you're very similar to me. I'm like that and enjoy that, but it doesn't mean that I don't really enjoy this stuff, and I spend most days at some point during the day looking at certain cards, and I'm not looking at them to sell them. I'm looking at them just to sort of appreciate them and enjoy them. So second thing, my thoughts on the Frosted Caribou situation. And Gary, so I disagree with both people in certain aspects of it. So I want to start with like what it seemed to be the very like specific argument was based on, or initially was based on, and that was that this Arita, the comments that Gary made that the Arita signature, and I don't remember exactly what he said, but something in that Graham Stephan video saying like that the Arita signature is unnecessary, or like I wouldn't want to get this card signed by the original artist. It could make the card less valuable, or at least it wouldn't add any value to it. He phrased it like it wouldn't add any value to it. And from my perspective, like there's nothing wrong with that comment. He's probably right. I think when we're talking purely like from that financial perspective, signatures are an interesting game, and with a card maybe that rare, to get like a BGS 10 Charizard First Edition, having a signature on it might lessen the value, because some collectors, they want a pristine card without the signature, and the signature just lowers the value. Okay, so did he phrase it in the best way or explain it in the best way in that podcast? Probably not. But I think people who are offended by that, and maybe Boo's offended by that, and some others, because it sounds like it's about the money and not just about the art. And it is about the money and not just about the art. It can be about both, and someone, I think, can appreciate both, and I think that's okay. But I think it's important to be honest about that and not be like a holier than thou for anyone. And to pretend that it's not all about the money. And I think on Gary's fault, to put this on him, I've heard a bunch of his comments and watched some of his responses, and it was a little confusing, and I think he mixed his words up, a few times, and said things like, it is about the money or it isn't about the money. And I think if he just had come out and said what I'm saying here, I think that would have been better. Now, I think the way Gary's responded to this, there's a lot of stuff that I haven't liked that I've seen. Questioning her mental health, someone she's never met. Like, what an incredibly rude and offensive thing to do to someone on the internet that you don't know. And I understand that he's feeling attacked, and he's feeling like this person's, being completely unfair, and, but that was really disappointing. And I think he should apologize for making a comment like that. I think it's gross. That being said, I'm going to make comments that I need to apologize for in the future. Being online and being a big public persona, you're going to say things that, out of anger or frustration, that are beneath your position in the hobby. And, Gary, with such a high position in the hobby, he's going to be held to a very high degree, of scrutiny. That being said, right, there are tons of comments that were like far ruder than any of Gary's comments about Boo. So, he's being held to a much higher standard because he's a huge public figure in the hobby, versus some of these like random people who like swore at her and said these like really gross, unnecessary things. Okay. Now Boo's other comments about Gary and about him, manipulating the hobby or building the hobby for his own financial gain, that's a hard thing to know. What Gary's true intentions or incentives were. I also think that if his incentive is to grow the value of his collection, you can't really fault him for that. That's not an evil, horrible thing to do. From my experience with both these people, it's been nothing but positive, as I said in the live stream. And so I just don't want to. I like both of them. I would be happy to be friends with both of them. I think both of them are important people in the community. And, so going into sort of like people's motives or what drives them, if anyone is pretending that they're a saint or doesn't have some sort of like, selfish motive involved in growing their brand, or, if Gary's just completely uninterested in money, this is all just for the love of Pokemon art and for building up things. I mean, it could largely be because of that, but it also could be like 50-50, and that still to me is like pretty good. That's like pretty decent, That's a pretty good percentage to be like 50% selfless and giving 50% away to charity, and giving 50% of your time and effort to people because you really care about them and you want other people to enjoy the hobby, and then to also be motivated by some of those I want my cards to be more valuable, or not even about monetary value, but he wants to be a celebrity. He wants to be liked. He enjoys the attention. I'm not in Gary's head. I don't know what makes him tick, but I think that, as human beings, right, we're driven by a lot of different forces inside, and I think that it's pretty hypocritical of anyone to call out another person for doing that or for being driven by multiple different forces, and to not acknowledge that they're probably driven by those same forces. As far as Boo and the attacks levied on her, that she's just doing this for clout chasing or for attention or for all those sorts of things. I think similarly about that. I mean, I don't think she's clout chasing here. I think she's very passionate and frustrated and irritated by this element in the hobby. I think she also, I think, wants to grow and be a big influencer and be a big channel and grow a big community, both to financially support herself. This is also about money for her. So I think if she's making it seem like there's no money in Pokemon, or she doesn't make money, or there's no business behind this, that would also be disingenuous. And I don't think she's done that, but I think we have to be careful here and honest here. And I think that's where I think a lot of people's frustrations is. It's sort of like, nobody here is a saint, nobody here is a complete hero. We all really love this hobby, but we also all want various things from this hobby, whether that's because we want to build a big collection for ourselves because that's fun, whether it's we want to invest and make a lot of money, make a lot of money, whether it's we want to build a social media brand or some sort of business off of it, to make money, like all those sorts of things. So so I guess those are my thoughts on it. I like both of these people a lot. I think both of them don't deserve the anger and the hate and the frustration. I think, Boo's video and what Boo's trying to do in terms of talking about, treating each other well and morality and being careful with sort of the manipulative, some of the financial scummy stuff that's happened this year, and the frustration of people that they can't like just get products at decent prices, and the frustration, earlier on that people were sort of taking advantage of that and taking advantage of newer and the people hobby financially. I certainly shared that sentiment. I think a lot of people did. I think that's part of why it resonated so much with so many people. I think Gary, the amount of hours and the time that he does to travel around and be at these events and improve these events that he's at, collect a con because people love to go and see him, show his cards. I heard personal stories of people that I know who talk to him for 45 minutes, an hour, things like that at these types of conventions. He's very giving of his time. He's very interested in talking to fans and or just fans of the hobby. So these are not evil people. These people are, I and probably the vast majority of people watching this are not better people than either of these two people. So I think that's a really probably the most important message to take from this. Could both of them have behaved better? Sure. Do I disagree with Boo's take on the Arita thing? Yes, I do. But I think she's very entitled to the opinion, and people are entitled to that frustration. Do I disagree with how Gary responded to it and the level that he responded to it? Absolutely. And I think the more tricky part of Gary bringing in Logan Paul and what that's done, and is Logan Paul a particularly good person, or some of these people particularly good people? That's for people to judge. I don't like them. But I don't know them. And so that could be a bunch of nonsense too. So, that's gonna be my rant for this week. That's my feelings on everything. I think we all should be try to be kind to each other and continue to be kind and thoughtful, and we all should be encouraged to enjoy this hobby the way that we want to, collect and invest in the way that you want to, and I guess we'll end it there. Thank you all so much for listening and hanging out, and I will see you all probably tomorrow for the live. And let me know how you like these new rant series. I think I'll probably pick a topic each week and do a little rant on it. All right.